just spotted an eagle right behind this tree. Now don't let her color fool you. She definitely has a bite. In fact, I think she may be hunting some prey right now. Let's see if we can get a closer look. This is the eagle from Snapcycle. Crikey, look at this. Looks like we were right. She hunted down a rad rover and left her entrails on the ground for us to find. Yeah, it's definitely fresh. Yep, that's the Snapcycle Eagle. Now, if you've just come here to see the specifications, I'm gonna get that out of the way right now. 750 watt motor, 20-inch fat tires, fenders, yes, included, 7-speed Shimano derailleur. It's using a cadence sensor for the pedal assist. It comes in 5 different colors, one of them being pink. Inside the frame right here is a 48-volt, 15-amp-hour battery. Oh, and the motor, I did say 750 watts, but it does have a peak output of just over 1,000 watts. And even though it's a small folding bike, it has full suspension. A shock in the rear, a shock in the front, which has the basic adjustments you need. It has a lockout and a preload, which is for adjusting the ride height. And it has these hydraulic brakes. Is that an R? Is that Ron Gloon? I don't know what that actually says, but it has hydraulic brakes, half twist throttle on the right-hand side, a small black and white display on the left-hand side, and a horn. Oh yeah, and it does have a headlight. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn it on. Not that button. How about this button? Okay, I'll have to figure out how to turn that on. The whole bike folds up so you can put it in the trunk of your car, underneath your RV, in your apartment, and I'd say that's a wrap. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. We're not done, because 1, I have to ride the bike, and 2, there is more than meets the eye to this bike, or I should say this bike company. Maybe I should say there's more at stake for Snapcycle. You see, they have sent me multiple bikes for me to ride, to test, to review, to try and sell, because they would really like me to sell Snapcycle bikes in my store at Area 13 in Northern California. The problem is, they're not the only bike company reaching out to me that wants me to try and sell their bikes. So the question we really have to find out, is Snapcycle good enough to be a bike sold at Area 13? And the answer to that is, well, I don't know, because I haven't actually ridden it yet. But ultimately, that's what I want to find out from this bike. So I am, yes, going to cover the usual things. How fast does it go? How well does it stop? Does it use quality parts? Is the price good? How's the fit and finish? How's the customer service? And only if they pass all of those things with flying colors like an eagle, then I can say, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Let's put some in our store. I think they're decent bikes. This little cable is like outside of the slot right there, and it should be in there, and that's not getting in the way, but it's bugging me. And there, fixed. Nice. I do actually like when they have little connector things like this built into the frame where you don't have to use zip ties. Maybe that one's actually not supposed to be used, because there's one there, and that one's down there. It probably actually didn't need to go down there, so that was probably overkill. Oh well, it's there now. I don't actually know how they put this on. Is this like a graphic or a sticker? It can't be a sticker. The detail is too fine. If you look real closely, you can see like there's little swirly patterns. You can actually feel that. It's like a texture in it. There's a tiny, ever so slightly wrinkle right there. You can only see it. I didn't actually notice it till I sat like 6 inches away from the bike. Electric bikes is basically all I do. I eat, sleep, and breathe electric bikes, and only if Snapcycle does the same are they gonna pass. So now that you know the basics, let's ride. I figured out how to turn the headlight on. Double tap the power button. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Right there, pile of rocks. Right here, me with full suspension bike. Oh, that's a bigger pile than I thought. Oh. How about if we go fast down this hill? seated, not bad. What if we go down this step without getting off the saddle? It's gonna hurt. A little stiff. Washboard gravel road to check for potholes on assist 5 and go. We're doing 20 miles an hour on gravel and it feels perfectly stable. Pothole. Big pothole coming up. Oh, apparently this thing has cruise control and somehow I just turned it on because we're doing 20 miles an hour and I'm not pedaling and my hands are not on the handlebars. Look at this. Look, Mom, no hands. I'm wearing my helmet though. We can just sit back and relax at this point, I guess. So I'll talk about the suspension because the bike feels so nice and stable. It's just going like this. I've ridden bikes where the rear suspension is like super soft and supple and soaks up every little bump, like say a full suspension mountain bike. This is not that, and I wasn't expecting that, so that's okay. The rear shock is a little stiffer than I thought it would be. So it's gonna soak up the big bumps, but it's not going to soak up every bump. Now the saddle has some springs in it, and the top part of the saddle is actually really soft and cushy. So they picked a really nice soft saddle, and it has rear suspension. So this is gonna be way more comfortable than your typical folding bike, especially if you're looking at something that doesn't have fat tires. I mean, the combo of fat tires, front shock, rear shock, comfy saddle. If you added a suspension seat post on this thing, it would be like riding on a cloud. Now, I will say, if you changed out that rear shock to an air shock, then you could also get really, really cloud-like feeling. But price, I didn't actually talk about the price. I guess I missed that at the beginning. I probably wouldn't want to upgrade because if I'm buying this bike, I'm probably on a budget. They retail for $16.99. See if we can make this turn. Yeah, retail for $16.99, but it's on sale right now for $12.99, so $400 off. So we're talking about a $1,300 bike here. Now hopefully when I hit the brakes, the cruise control thing shuts off. Yeah, I did, okay. Whew. That was a little concerning since I hadn't actually tested that yet. And there was a turn, should have tested that sooner. The twist throttle on the right, picks up speed nicely. Definitely a hard cutoff at 20, electrically speaking. I feel like the motor's got more, but I'll have to figure out how to remove the speed limit to make it go faster. But absolutely this thing could do more than 20, but it's doing the proper thing and being set up as a class 2 bike with a throttle. I really am liking that cruise control. One thing I will point out as well, I noticed, the throttle has a button right there. Boop. And if you push that button, then the throttle doesn't work. And if you're thinking, why would you want that? There is one very good reason. Let's say you need this bike to be a class 1 to ride a certain trail. Well, by pressing that button, I now have pedal assist. If I twist the throttle, nothing happens. I start slowing down. This is a class 1 bike now. I could put a class 1 sticker on it and I'd be good to go. And I assume there's some way to get into settings to go over that 20-mile-an-hour limit. I'm going uphill. This is a really steep hill. We're doing 19 miles an hour. Now 20 again, 19, 20, 19, 20. So I think power-wise, they say 750 watt, 1000 watt peak. And that, I believe that. That seems legit. Now we got the steepest hill. 30 miles an hour, 32. Let's turn it off to make sure I don't press any wrong buttons. So pretty standard folding bike stuff from what I can see. Folding pedals, they are from Welgo. They're made out of some sort of plastic. They get the job done. If you're gonna ride a ton, and not fold it a lot, I'd swap it out for some regular pedals. Folding pedals aren't the greatest, but they work great if you really, really need them to fold. So just something to consider. If you don't need them to fold up and be quite that compact, you can get away with regular pedals on these. We do have at the top here a stem that goes up and down. I had it most of the way down and it was comfortable for me. That would make a very upright bike. Standover is mid-step, so not super low, definitely not a step through, but they have other step through bikes. And we have a latch here. So we're gonna fold this over to the side, put the kickstand up, got the pedals in, there's a latch in the middle right here, and swing this around. And one of the things to find out is how well does it do stationary. Some bikes are really tipsy once you fold them up, and this one is actually quite stable. Swing it around, snap into place, snap into place. And folding and unfolding is as easy as that. Go anywhere. Now, something I didn't test coming down that big, long, steep hill was the brakes. I've already felt them out when I first started though, and I have a feeling I know exactly what's gonna happen if I squeeze both brakes. So we're at 12 miles an hour. Let's hit them both all the way. Oops. Although that was fun enough, I'm gonna try that again. This time again, 12 miles an hour. Stop. I mean, this thing stops on a dime. I still don't know what these brakes are called. It says, like I said, Ronglun. I don't know what that means. I've never heard of it. It's not a name brand, but these things stop. I need to check the rotor size. These are interesting rotors. These have a really interesting pattern. I'll get a shot of that so you can see them up close. So based on how the bike stops, I thought for sure these gotta be at least 180s. They're only 160s. Really steep hill, slowed down to 10 miles an hour. And that hill is ridiculously steep. Let's see if I can pedal. Yeah, 20 miles an hour. I have a little bit of resistance. I'd say probably mid-20s. It's gonna max out on pedaling cadence. So it's geared appropriately for up to 20 mile an hour pedaling very comfortably. Brakes. That's just too much fun. I mean, I didn't even have to break them in. They were like this out of the box. Do I tell Snapcycle? Yeah, let's put these in your store. Here's the hiccup. Here's the problem. It's not just a matter of, yeah, you can sell our bikes and take 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or even 15. If I sign up with the deal they're offering me, they want 20 bikes sitting, oh, I bumped the horn. That was me. They want 20 bikes sitting on our showroom floor. And that's a fair amount of floor space, especially when you consider I have my own bikes, Area 13. I have bikes from Uniro. I have bikes from Aventon, Anioki, and this crazy 60 amp hour battery. Some other bikes might have some super high-end suspension. Some have this new tech where they can get wireless updates. The Freebeat Morph has this thing where you can exercise on a stationary stand and the bike actually charges while you pedal. All these bikes are coming out with crazy things to try and find out what the market really wants. But I think when it comes down to it, people just want a decent bike at a decent price that's fun to ride, reliable, and has a good company behind it. So let me know what you guys think. I think it deserves a nice close-up because it is actually a pretty cool color. There's those rotors I was talking about. So there it is, the Snapcycle Eagle. I'll put a link in the description to their website so you can check it out, but also to area13ebikes.com, which is my website, because there's a very good chance you'll see
maybe 20 of their models on our website and in our store in the near future. But as I said, I do have a few of their bike models right now. So if you want to come check out some of their models, see what the quality's like, test ride one, touch one, feel one, before you have to buy it, you can come do that in Grass Valley, California. I think that's a wrap. I should probably take this thing home before it eats any more Rad Power bikes.